Radiance ban.
Good afternoon again, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this, the second round of this...
Ban.
Let me just start that over again. Welcome to the second round of the... the hell do you call it now? This Division 1 game between Sector 17 and DUC. And DUC picking up that first game pretty well. Bristleback and the Slark will be banned out first. Sector 17 will be banning out the Bristleback. DUC will be grabbing that Slark.
10 seconds to go.
We'll be seeing how this goes. So
5 seconds.
DUC certainly dominated that game 1, and
Reserve
to see
time.
how the rest of this game goes. But Sector 17 is currently also unbeaten.
Radiance
They
pick.
certainly have the opportunity to come back here against DUC, and they will in fact ban out that Ancient Apparition, which was doing a large amount of work for DUC in that game 1. DUC gets first pick this round, so we'll have to see what they go with. They did open with the Weaver and Abaddon combo, which did quite a bit of damage. We'll have to see how things go
10
here. I
seconds to
think
go.
DUC will probably go with something as aggressive. They will in fact go with the Marana,
Dyer's
which
pick.
is quite an interesting ban. Now I wonder if they're going to go with the Bane as well. Sector
Dyer's
17
pick.
is going to... Sector 17 is going to... somewhere else now. Sector 17 is actually going to pick up that Invoker. Such a... Yeah. The
10
Invoker is
seconds to
just
go.
is this damn word? It's just not
5
coming to me right now.
seconds.
Such a versatile hero. There we go. Such a versatile hero. And I wonder though if the
time.
Invoker is going to go with the Quas Exort or the Quas Wex. The Quas Wex is in vogue right now. Very, very powerful, and that EMP, in my opinion, does need a little bit of a nerf after its massive amount of buffs in the past patch. And Sector 17 will once again pick up that
Radiance
Timbersaw. I'm quite certain that will be going the way of Pi. Pi was of course doing pretty well on that bottom lane, killing off the Magnus, first kill on that bottom lane, but unfortunately he just got too far behind, and the Weaver was eventually just able to eat him alive.
Behold the horn of Magnus.
So we'll have to see, and DUC is in fact going to pick up that Magnus once again, so I think we're going to be seeing the Timbersaw Mag in that bottom lane again. We'll have to see if the DJ can do as good a job on the Mag this round. It's a brilliant RPs there. Every time at least a 2, and then in the last few fights he grabbed a couple of very, very important 3-man RPs that just completely wrecked any ability of 17 to try and turn around a team fight there. And he was also, there was the heroes that he landed that RP on as well, just taking off the stunners constantly for Sector 17
Radiant team ban.
and just completely locking them down. And Sector 17 this time is going to ban out that Weaver, so they obviously want nothing to do with that little cockroach. DUC is going to go back to their normal bans and just take out that Nyx Assassin. They did of course ban the Nyx Assassin in the first
10
round earlier, which is a little bit odd. And they will in fact go with their Lunar ban as well, so DUC is going to stick with the exact same bans as their round 1, just in a slightly different order with the Doom and the Nyx. Sector 17 meanwhile, it's going to be pretty interesting to see what they ban out now. I don't think they're going to be banning out anything else that DUC will be using from that first round. They might do a job though in banning out the Bane. If they can ban out that Bane, which they in fact picked up, won't give them that easy initiation. They're in fact going to ban out the Clockwork. Now that is odd. I really think that the Magnus will be again running that off lane. But to ban out the Clockwork, unless they expect him to go mid, is a little bit of a odd decision for me, Sector 17. We'll have to see how Sector 17 is going to run this now. So they've got their mid, there's their solo mid, they've got their off-laner, so they're going to desperately need a couple of supports here, and I think the supports that we're going to see get picked up is going to tell us what kind of lane they will be running. So In fact, neither of these teams have actually picked up a support as yet, and we're going to go with the Jakiro. So the twin-headed dragon will be flying the skies once again. He's actually dropped off quite a lot in recent times. Pretty common pick at TI3, and since last two patches he's sort of just fallen off. Not any nerfs to him. I think the meta just moved away from that type of hero. Did actually get a nerf to his ice path. Damage was reduced on it, and the liquid fire has been changed to a passive that you can actually auto cast as well.
Radiance
We've got a couple of very strong come out here. We've got a Visage coming out, so Zephyr will once again be running a tri-lane, quite possibly an aggressive tri-lane. Visage is the king of those. Assumption, and the Rachel doing a massive amount of damage and giving them a very easy time in a tri-lane if he's able to get those skills off. DUC meanwhile has gone for the Venomancer.
To go.
This little snake over here is pretty powerful as well, with that venomous gale giving a 50% slow at all levels. So we're going to have to see what DUC goes with here, but I think they might in fact be picking up their carry right now. If they do pick up their carry, it's going to also tell us what's going to be happening here. Sector 17 meanwhile, I think they might be running an aggressive tri-lane here. The Jakiro is quite a decent lockdown, and he does a lot of damage over time, which will of course help that Visage to charge up that solar sub of his. Sector 17 is also going to need to pick a quite aggressive carry if they want to make the tri-lane work. But DUC is taking a little bit more time now to decide what they're going with here. Like I said, they should probably be going with maybe a solo mid. Yeah, I'm not actually certain. Of course, they do have the Magnus that can be run in the solo mid, as can the Mirana. Both of those heroes can even take the off lane. It'll be very interesting to see what they go with, unless they're going with the Mirana as a position 1 carry, in which case I would probably try and pick up a Bane here. If they can grab up that Bane along with the Venomancer and the Mirana, it'll be a very powerful tri-lane. But they're going to go with a Pugna here, so I think this might actually be their carry, or perhaps their solo mid. It's actually going to be a lot of damage. Now that I look at Sector 17 has 3 magic users, intel heroes.
10 seconds to go.
Pugna is a master at destroying those with the help of his Nether Ward.
5 seconds.
And all of these Sector 17 heroes are relatively reliant on mana, even the Timbersaw as well, despite being a strength hero. The Pugna is going to be doing quite a big job. Sector 17 meanwhile will ban out the Crystal Maiden, obviously seeing what might be coming their way if they do give Pugna unlimited mana. So DUC is now up for their last ban. We'll have to see. So they're probably going to be banning out a carry, and I think they're going to need to ban out a carry here with some lockdown. Right now Sector 17 does not have much of lockdown. We've only got that skill shot stun from the Jakiro and the slow from the Visage. And DUC will actually ban out the Ember Spirit. But odd, I would not have expected the Ember Spirit to get picked up there. It's effective, but not really as effective as Jakiro Visage. Ember Spirit is more reliant on levels than anything else to farm. Early levels do a lot more for him than massive amounts of early farm with little levels. Now we're seeing how Sector 17 tends to run this. I don't know, something just screams Bane to me here, but
5
I might be very wrong, depending on what 17 decides here.
Reserve time.
We'll have to see what's going to happen here, but I do believe it'll probably be a carry with some form of stun. Don't know what though. I'm going to call it as a spec. Probably very bad. So, just looking at these lineups, I think if we've looked at the game 1, the Invoker will be picked up by Slinky. Timbersaw will be running in the hands of Pi once again. Jakiro will most likely be on probably Samaj, and the Visage will be picked up by Steerbus.
Chaos Knight.
And we've got a Chaos Knight now. That is a very interesting carry to go with. Not the most common carry, and when he is picked up, he's almost always picked up along with the Wisp. Does need a lot of farm to be very, very effective, so Sector 17 is obviously anticipating that this game might go late. Going with that Chaos Knight, so not 100% certain of that pick. There's probably better carries that they could have gone with. Chaos Knight, of course,
10
is
seconds
still
to
incredibly
go.
powerful, but I just wonder if that'd be the best decision
5
in terms
seconds.
of what's going to be up against him here. The DUC is not going to
Reserve
finally get
time.
me side on their lanes. I'm going to call it as a Magnus mid with a off-lane Marana. I think this Pugna is going to be a support, so I'm going to call it as a Venomancer support and a Pugna support. Then we're going to have to see what they got for the hard carry role, and they're actually going to go with an Enigma. So once again, they just throw my words in my mouth. But yeah, so Marana will be off-lane, I believe. Yeah, Magnus will be, Marana will be the hard carry, Venomancer will be supporting, as well as the Enigma will be in the jungle, and the Pugna will be picked up by the solo mid from the last game. A couple of odd picks coming out from both teams here. X-Knight and Enigma, not the most common of picks these days, but once again very, very effective in their given roles. If they
I'd get ready if I were you.
And let me just introduce the teams to you. So for DUC, we have Titan will be picking up the Venomancer, Legend will be running on the Pugna, Flace will be picking up what seems to be a position 1 Marana, Rising the Evil will be going on that Enigma, and the DJRS will be going on his offlane Magnus once again. Zephyr, Sector 17, will be running as Steerbus on the Visage. Pi will be picking up his Timbersaw from game 1. Baby will be grabbing his Chaos Knight. Simage will be grabbing that Jakiro, and Slinky will be running the solo mid Invoker, along with this very, very sick looking set as well. We might actually have an early team fight here. Sorry, DUC almost getting caught out there by that rotation from Zephyr.
To battle.
Unfortunately just being able to get away there. Titan meanwhile is all on his lonesome, but he's going to retreat behind the tower, and I don't know if Zephyr actually saw him there, so good time to make a retreat there. And I think that's just going to be the end of that. They're going to try and ward up and then move to their lanes here. Now I wonder...
Ready. Well, if you
Rising
say
Evil
so.
is actually just going to get a lot of his wards, or a lot of his camps just blocked out. Yeah, but it does seem as though we're going to have a defensive try this, a defensive dual lane coming out from DUC here with the Enigma in the jungle. And then we will have that Pugna in the middle lane. We'll be running up against the Invoker. So that's a lane I would probably expect the Invoker to take in the end. But Legend did do a very, very good job on a Drow. I didn't expect to win mid lane either, so we'll see how that goes. And Zeph is actually going to go with a defensive try, Jakiro, Visage, and Chaos Knight going to that top lane. Let's just look at this middle lane then. So Legend currently just dead in terms of last hits with a 3 to the 2 of the Invoker, but the Invoker will then pick up his third one as well. So we're going to have to see what's going to be happening here, and we've immediately got a harassment coming out of both players. Invoker eating a Pugna Blast and Pugna eating a Cold Snap. Slinky meanwhile does sort of have the advantage here, but Legend's just going to keep up with that Pugna Blast and unfortunately just missed that last hit. The Slinky's got the hero, or the creeps on his side of the river, and he does of course get an advantage of this. We're going to have to see what he's up to. Currently 6 for 1. He seems to be doing relatively well enough, just expertly avoiding some of these Pugna Blasts. Legend is just going to have to be, I think, a little bit more accurate with them, but Legend is going to get very, very aggressive on these towers, in fact. You don't pick a Pugna unless you're going to do that. So this is, I think, a very early game strat coming out here for Legend. Have to see what's up. So DJRS has actually just dropped the Observer Ward to just scout out some movements, and he's just going to try and contest this pull that Zephyr is getting on the top lane here. So it's going to be a much more difficult lane this time around for the Magnus. Was up against the Timbersaw, which I didn't expect it to win in game 1, but we've got 50 million. We've actually got movements out here from Steerbus is going to grab off the Grave Chill, and the stun will go down on him, and DJRS is going to die off here. Is he? No, he's actually going to just get away. And that is really a very big pity there. If Zephyr had picked that off, that would have set back that Magnus massively. But a clutch skewer there, and unfortunately just, I think, maybe not enough right clicks from Zephyr there, just allowing that Magnus to get away. But a pretty decent fight first up there from Zephyr. Chaos Knight's Reality Rift helped them quite a bit there. Unfortunately, like I said, that clutch Magnus skewer just forcing him to get away, and Pi is actually doing a bit of annoying work here, just blocking up the creep spawn, and he's going to catch out Titan, and he's just going to do a bit of harassment to Titan. Titan's actually going to go on this, and Pi might actually get a kill here if this continues. Just actually going to catch up the Marana arrow, and he's now in deep trouble. Titan's getting a lot of damage done to him, and he might actually die here. Leap from Flace, and that'll be the first blood going the way of Flace.
It was ours all along.
So, Pi making a bad decision to hang around there. I think he probably should have backed off a little bit earlier and just made the hasty retreat as opposed to have tried to fight off that Venomancer. And that's going to set him back quite a bit. He's only level 3. Moran is in fact out-leveling here, out-leveling him in this bottom lane. So, we have to be very, very careful now. Yeah, so very, very good arrow there from Flace, by the way, just helping him pick off that Timbersaw. I think that's going to make Pi act a little bit more defensively. He's going to run in and try to just do a bit of damage to Titan, and we got a bit of movement on the bottom lane. Legend actually picked up the double damage, and he's trying to juke it out there with Slinky, but Slinky's just going to turn around and actually grab himself the equivalent of an extra creep kill there with that partner ward. So right now Legend is actually winning this middle lane, not massively so, but decently enough. 21 last hits, 2 denies versus the 13 and 4 denies of the Invoker. Meanwhile, the top lane has in fact got its first death, going the way of Zephyr there, in fact picking off that Magnus there. Tiabas and Semaj just grabbing that. Very sorry to have missed that, unfortunately. Sorry, guys. So the DJRS is currently suffering a little bit. He's only got 7 lost hits here. 4th loss on the board, only the sports behind him, so not having the best of games this round. Really do think he probably needs maybe just boots or something. Did in fact complete the magic wand first, which I was quite 100% certain of that, but he misses a skewer as well, so unfortunately just suffering a little bit here in this early game. Anyway, let's look at Chaos Knight. Chaos Knight is picked up the Bracer early on, just helping a little bit of the harassment that DJRS can get with that shockwave. So I just wonder what Baby's going to be doing here. Is he going to go with a straight Treads build, or might he in fact be going with the Midas? We have seen the Marana go with the Midas as well now, so DUC obviously realizing that they need this game to a little bit later, and they're making certain that the Marana will then pick that up, not avoid being under farmed once it gets to the later game. In the middle lane, Legend is actually doing quite a number here on this Invoker now. He's now 31 last hits and 3 denies versus the 22 of the Invoker. Slinky's having a bit of a tough time, and we do in fact see those treads pick up, and we got smoke supports coming from s17 here to see what they can do with this gank. But I think Legend has obviously realized something's up, so he's going to hang out his tower and not allow himself to get caught out in any way. To just use his images to run top, but I think s17 saw that, so he's going to actually get caught out here. Legend is probably going to die here. We've got the Cold Snap coming in along with the EMP, and that is a very, very dead Pugna. The rotation coming in from the Venomans are just too late to do anything there, and that was actually a brilliant rotation from s17, just making certain that they grabbed up that Pugna in the middle lane here. Certainly what Slinky needed to get himself a little bit of help there. He does seem to be building into the drums, which I would have thought might have been a better choice on the Chaos Knight, but I suppose it'll work out the same way in the end. Pugna's back now to see what he can do. He's in fact building into the mechanisms, so he's going to have to go hard early. Of course, if this does go late, I do think Zephyr probably has it. So DUC's running a little bit on the clock here. They need to push a little bit more effectively, especially with this Pugna pickup. The Pugna isn't massively ahead, so he really does need to start pushing these towers and getting aggressive and forcing S17 to move to his own tempo as opposed to just continuing at theirs. Meanwhile, on the bottom lane, Pi has actually picked up his arcane boots, so he's doing pretty well. He has 20 last hits, 2 denies, so he's doing better than the Magnus at the very least. Of course, he did give up that first blood as well, so not all sunshine and roses for him, and Steerboss will actually help him rotate here, and he's going to drop off the magic bush ward, blocking off these two. And we've actually got movement in the middle. Slinky's actually got the cold snap off on Legend, but Legend's going to turn around, activate the double damage and see what he can do. And we've got movement coming out. S17's rotating around behind Legend, and Legend's really going to have to be careful here. He's going to get caught out, but the Marana ult will in fact save him. Enigma's actually snuck up behind him and gotten off the stun. So Simaj is just going to get away with 70 HP. Unfortunately, the Nether Wall just not being able to do enough damage there. So Legend's going to come back and start casting his Nether Blast and just force him to back off. So S17's rotation just not working like that time, and Legend just continuously do damage to this tower. Yeah, Enigma's also actually rotated in. He doesn't have any Eidolons though, so not going to be the most effective push right now, and I think that'll just be the code to go back to farming there. On the top lane, just looking there quickly, Magnus is still struggling. I don't know if he's getting his boots coming out too many times soon. No, he is in fact not. He has got his bottle though, so that is going to help him a little bit, but he's having a really rough time. He's only got 16 last hits, 2 denies, and Baby's got almost complete free farm here.
Dire has fortified its structures.
Got 50 lost hits, 22 denies. He has completed treads. He seems to be building into a...
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
He's going to be building into now probably a Helm of the Dominator here just to help him up. Meanwhile, we have stacks going on from Simaj in the jungle. Getting a double stack on this on that camp over there. Titan is hanging around in the mid. I think probably just trying to grab up a couple of levels to make certain he can get to level 6 and doing a bit of damage to the tower in the meanwhile. Slinky meanwhile has pulled the creeps behind the tower. We actually have a Quas Wex Invoker coming out here, so much more team fight and fight controlling for Slinky, as opposed to the more damage heavy build with the Exort. And we've actually got three of these legends, DUC's heroes out here, and we've got a missed stun coming out there. Unfortunately, Steerbus just catching off the DJ and making certain that he could get away there. So a little bit of a failed rotation. Legend is going to see what he can do. He's currently got this Invis rune here, and I don't think that S17 saw that. So Steerbus is going to get caught out here, I think. No, Pugnas is going to back off. His Invis is going to run out now, so he's going to drop that ward and see what he can do. He's going to drop his Pugna Blast, will walk right into a stun, and brilliant Marana arrow catching off the Visage there before he can do any damage. Simaj meanwhile is getting blown apart by the ward and the Pugna himself, and that's a 2-for-0 trade on the top lane, yeah, and a buyback from the Visage. So really just a very unfortunate turn of events there for Zephyr. Getting caught out, unfortunately, and another Marana arrow this time won't hit anything, and Sneaker's actually got in, he's going to land that Tornado EMP ult, and Titan's going to eat a Timbersaw ult. DJ RS9 meanwhile gets a 4-man RP. Pi will in fact get killed by Legends. Enigma will pick off the Visage, and this has been turned around by Baby grabbing off that Enigma, but that is a... what is that now? In the end, a 4-for-2 trade? going the way of DUC, so certainly the better plays being made then. We've got another fishing arrow coming out of the Marana, but it won't hit anything this time. Magnus, meanwhile, is just going to get a couple of hits on these visage birds and almost grabbing himself a little bit of money there.
Illusion.
And that fight almost went very, very well for Zephyr and almost went very, very well for DUC, I think. That probably could have gone either way depending on if they continue that fight, so probably the best idea for both teams to have just backed off there. And it seems like we have a bit of movement coming in the middle here. Slinky's just going to actually just use his images to do a bit of damage to the tower. Meanwhile, on the bottom lane, Place is rotated back there and seems to be building into what will probably be a Manta style. But the Timbersaw, meanwhile, is doing pretty well. He's actually got his arcane boots quite a while ago. He hasn't gotten anything since, so sickling a little bit in terms of farm there. You need to pick that up a little bit if you want effective. I wonder if he's actually going to try and build into the Bloodstone. I think if you wanted to go to the Bloodstone, you probably need to be farming much better than this. It's going to be quite a late Bloodstone if he does go for it now. Meanwhile, the Enigma is actually doing very, very well. He's almost got his Blink Dagger, so this despite going with the Ring of Bassi as well. And he's actually going to spy out Pi here, and I wonder if Pi knows
Dire's
that...
top tower is under siege.
Oh, and he's just going to get away in time, and that gets the thing. And he's actually going to get stunned up there and catch a lot of damage from the Marana. He's just going to miss the stun, and there'll be another death going the way of DUC. Marana currently on killing spree. Pi having once again a hard time with it on that Timbersaw. And I think they're going to try and push out here. We've got the Eidolons up. I think DUC might be making an attempt on this bottom
Dire's
tower.
bottom tower
That is
under
also, in
attack.
fact, the Blink Dagger for the Enigma as well. So this will be the bottom lane going down
Dire's bottom
for
tower
DUC, and this will be the first tower of the game going their way.
Visibility.
That's certainly going to help them out, and with that we are currently looking at a 4,000 gold lead for DUC and a 3,000 XP lead for DUC as well. So once
Dire's
again,
bottom tower is under siege.
making the most of the early game. And we've got immediate rotations coming out here as well. Place will be rotating up there. He doesn't have much HP either. He has also popped his ult, and I think they're just going to try and push this tier 2. So that'll be 2 tier 2s in the space of about a minute. And I don't know if Zephyr can actually combat this. If they do go in, it might be a very, very disorganized fight. Wagner's actually dropped his ward, and that ward's immediately doing damage, just absolutely wrecking Baby there. Blinking from the Enigma, and they'll be going to try and focus on Baby, and Baby is going to die off. Yes, in fact he will. In comes an EMP tornado combo. Titan's going to get blown apart there, and very, very low HP with no mana whatsoever. Another brilliant blinking from DJRS, and that'll grab off 2 along with the Enigma ult will certainly finish those 2 off. The Enigma is going to try in, and that'll be a dead Visage, so it's a 4-for-nothing trade going the way of DUC, and Zephyr unfortunately just once again getting completely out-rotated here. And Rising Evil just rubbing salt in the wounds there by grabbing those Visage birds as well, so unfortunately Zephyr is now further and further behind. And this will actually in fact be a tier 2 as well, so things just going from bad to worse for Zephyr here, and they really need to just slow the game down and see what they can try and do.
Dire's top tower has been
But
destroyed.
we've got another Invoker throwing out the tornado, but unfortunately he's not going to hit anything this time. And just like that, we've gone from a 4,000 gold lead to more than 10,000 in the space of a minute or 2 at best. That's just really, really looking bad for Zephyr now. Need to, I think, just try and force the towers and see what they can do. But unfortunately, they don't have the best early game lineup. They all need a bit of farm to these heroes. So they're going to need to be. I think they just need to choose their fights better. They keep getting caught out by this Magnus. That is the one thing I must say. DJRS is playing absolutely monstrous on this Magnus. Constantly waiting and getting 2-3 man RPs. making certain that he grabs at least one of these cores from Zephyr every time. And it seems like Baby's going to get turned around here. He does have a TP, but I don't know if he's actually going to be able to get away. No, the Magnus will in fact charge through the trees. Baby's going to have to try and turn around, but I think he's going to die off here. He can't really do much, and no, he'll take place down to half HP, but that'll be a dominating spree going the way of the Mirana, and he will in fact TP out just to try and defend the middle lane, which is currently under attack from s17. I think they might in fact win this tower, but no, we've got a stun coming out and a Venomancer ulti. Simage is going to eat a lot of damage there. Titan as well. Rising Evil is going to blink in and see what he can do. Grapple for a stun or two. Flace eats a Soul Assumption, but Rising Evil just constantly diving this tower. He's going to walk into a Timbersaw ulti, but get off the stun in fact, and Seabos just does not have enough mana to complete that. Flace will grab off this middle tower as well, along with the help of Legend, and that is 3 tier 1s and a tier 2 for nothing in response from Zephyr.
Dire's middle tower is under siege.
So this is where this death ball really starts rolling for DUC now. Zephyr is really behind the 8 ball, and another brilliant blink and charge from the Magnus will in fact grab off and kill the Chaos Knight as well. And there's nothing that Slinky can do. Slinky actually in fact catches a
Dire's middle tower is being attacked.
arrow for his trouble. Flace is going to try and get away here. He's going to turn around and actually try to go for Samaj. Samaj grabs a stun on him, and I think that'll be his death. He's going to get off the ulti. Enigma has actually died off in backplay as well, but with the help of Pi, they actually grabbed that Mirana and his mega kill streak. So the 2-for-2 trade there. But I still think in the end that probably worked out better for DUC. They lost their Enigma and their position 1 Mirana, but Zephyr lost both their Zephyr lost both their position 1 Chaos Knight and their Invoker as well. Things certainly not looking good for Zephyr at the moment. Really need to try and get back into this. The Chaos Knight's actually completed the Drum of Endurance now. Let me actually have 2 drums of endurance on Zephyr now. I wonder if that's just miscommunication or if that was actually planned. But that's really just a bit of a waste of money there. Only one of them should have probably gotten that. I think probably just a bit of lack of communication. Timbersaw meanwhile has picked up the first part of, well, the second part of his Bloodstone, but I mean he's very, very far behind. He's 19 minutes in, and he's literally got Arcane Boots and a point booster. You'd really hope for more from your Timber, but he did have a rather tough lane. We've got TPs coming in here, and Mirana ult goes up. Venomancer is going to try getting. Is he going to land off his ulti? Enigma will TP in and immediately catch a stun in the face, and Baby's going to get caught out, and another 2-man RP will grab the Jakiro as well as Baby, and there goes the Jakiro.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. I hope that's part of it.
Now we've got a headlong tree coming out of Zephyr. Flace will in fact help finish off that Timbersaw with his Diffusal Blade and the Purge. And once again, the death ball continues. And there's really nothing Zephyr can do about this. That was a 3-for-0 trade. All they did was a little bit of damage to DUC.
Dire's bottom tower
really
is under
looking
attack.
ugly now. And this will be the last tower. Actually, no, sorry, the second last tower for Zephyr. And Zephyr's not even going to contest this. There's really nothing they can do against this initiation and power. And we've got a fishing arrow coming out that won't hit anything. Slinky comes in to try and do what he can, throws out the tornado, but he won't follow that up with the EMP, unfortunately. And once again, they're just going to rotate mid and see what they do here. So DUC is completely in control of this game. I mean, the only wards we have for Zephyr are there on the bottom lane. They really don't do much for anything at the moment. Actually, no, what am I saying? It's the other way around. Zephyr, in fact, has much better vision on the map than DUC does. But unfortunately, it's just not helping them. Legend's actually going to walk himself into that Jakiro stun. The tornado coming out from Slinky, and Pi's in deep problems now. He's actually going to get caught out there, and Enigma and the Pugner both walk into that Jakiro stun and the EMP. But they're just going to heal back up and get a little bit more mana, and then continue it once again. Another Okay, and Jakiro just throwing out another stun there. Sorry guys, I'm getting... actually just getting a bit of information here from Castaway. The solo mid for Nav, he does in fact say that the drums is not bad if you get multiple, so I do apologize there if I called that wrongly. So obviously the drums doing work on multiple heroes, so it's not too bad. And Jakiro is building into the mech for Zephyr here, but he's only got the buckler up. They're really going to be struggling. We do have the Visage Bird scouting out this rush attempt, but I don't really know if it is a rush attempt, and that's actually the death of the Visage Bird there as well. This is a weird attempt here at rush by DUC, so I'm not 100% certain what they're trying to do. But seem to sort of given up on it right now, and we've got another Mirana ult just to see what they can do. And the Mirana ult, they're just going to try and hide into the jungle here and see. I think they're going to try and catch out Zephyr. And Zephyr, meanwhile, is now basically stuck in the base. They can't do anything. Baby's completely without farm. He's had the same items almost for the past 10 minutes. He's really not having a good time, but still making what little farm he can count for him. But unfortunately, these deaths of his are just costing him quite badly. They're all actually going to pop a smoke, and nothing it seems. I'm not 100% certain what s17 is doing here. I think they're just getting a little bit confused. They don't really know what to do. But finally we do have them moving out. They're going to try and catch out the DUC here, but I really wonder if this is the best idea. Pugner's on that bottom lane, so the Magnus is free to go on anyone if he does see the opportunity. And he does see them coming in, so what's he going to do? He's going to just catch a bit of damage from that Timbersaw. He's got the EMP Tornado combo out. Titan will pop up his ult, as will Jakiro. And we've got this completely turned around. That's a massive team fight, 2 for 2 currently, and we've got an Enigma ult grabbing off Baby, and an ult from the Magnus finishing off Pride as well. Finishing off Baby, and DJRS finally giving up a triple kill going the way of the Invoker, and that'll be his mega kill as well. So a much better team fight from Zephyr there. That was a 4 for 3, so not really what they wanted, but a very successful fight nonetheless for them. And I really do think that the Pugner needed to be there as well. With his Nether Ward, that could have been a lot of extra damage for DUC in that team fight. Sorry guys, Castaway getting quite upset with me, telling me that he does not play for Nav anymore, he now plays for Pride Gaming. I did of course cast them in the arena tournament, so I should have remembered that. Right, so as it stands, DUC currently leads 21-10. They have just more than a 15,000 gold lead and just more than a 10,000 experience lead. So s17 did just get a very good team fight, and we've got actually another jump here on the Magnus. He's going to catch a lot of stuns, and the Visitor in fact pick him off with the help of that solo assumption. So Zephyr's making a bit of plays around here. The Mirana will attempt to get something done, but will unfortunately not be able to do anything. She does in fact grab up the double damage though. So this will just continue. Pugner's actually completed up his Agnum Scepter, so his Legend is doing pretty well here, and just farming away very effectively. 118 lost hits at the moment, and leading the scoreboard.
Take us.
Pugman's actually just going to drop off his ward, but he's not going to hit anything. That is just very, very unlucky for Pi, catching a 5-second Mirana arrow. And this is actually turned the fight around. He's actually going to die off to that Pugna ulti. And unfortunately, neither the Visage Birds nor the Tornadoes are actually going to be doing anything. And got a Grave Shield coming out on Legend and the Medallion of Courage. So Magnus is going to blink in, but unfortunately not charge anyone back. And we've got a jump in now. Legend's going to get instantly popped by that baby. Mirana's going to grab Visage and another 2-man RP, and that is going to be the death of both of those heroes, the Jugular and the Invoker. And Enigma's going to grab off a baby who has morphed back, and that's a triple kill going there with Mirana. That's a 4-for-1 trade, and we've got a buyback from Baby. Oh, sorry, Baby didn't die. Apologies, my mistake. I thought he died twice there. Oh no, wait, he blew away the he blew away the Pugna. Sorry guys, getting very, very confused in that team fight there. But a decent enough hold actually coming out there from Zephyr. It did cost them 3 heroes. Not the best, but effective in the end. The Baby's actually started to get a little bit more form. He has in fact completed that Helm of the Dominator. He seems to be building into... I'm not certain. I think he does need a BKB. You can grab that BKB and it'll certainly help him out. I have to see what he's going to be doing with that. He does of course also be building into the Blades of Attack. I wonder who he's going to be using that. I don't know what else. Maybe the Armlet, but is the Armlet really the best decision to go for now? It's much better an early game item. I think he does need that BKB a little bit more. Invoker meanwhile has completed up his Orchid Malevolence. He's actually been doing decently enough. Unfortunately just not landing as many of his Tornado EMP combos as I think he would like to. Usually only landing it on 2 heroes, but of course the Partner Ward is causing massive amounts of damage to him when he does get those skills off as well. So I think when Legend is around, the team fights become almost impossible for Zephyr to win, and it's only really been those 2 team fights where he hasn't been they're either picked off early or just not in place when it went sideways for DUC. They're actually just going to be getting off this Ancient stack and getting a lot more from, so Magnus is building into what seems to be the refresher. Got 2,200 gold on him, so he does have enough for the next part. And we'll be going for the recipe in the future. Meanwhile, Pugna's actually got 2,400 gold on him now. I wonder what he's going to be building into, and they have in fact spotted out. Yes, in fact they have spotted out that Zephyr's now going to try and make an attempt on Rush, and this is going to be very, very bad for Zephyr. If they do get caught out here, they spot out the Jugular, and that immediately tells the rest of the team to back off. Pugna's going to come in and grab off the Jugular, and we've got Shations on the bottom. Baby's going to pop his ult and try to get away. Titan actually gets caught out. Another 2-man RP from Magnus, but he and the Venomancer are going to die to the Invoker. Rising Evil in fact grabs off the Chaos Knight. Mirana's trying to get out here. Pi is going to try and see through. He's just going to make it. The Visage Birds prevent any form of chase. Blaze is going to jump up and try to catch them off, but jumps just too far away. He's going to catch a Cold Snap for his trouble from Slinky. Slinky's actually going to grab a Malachus from the Enigma, and as well as a stun from the Mara, and that will in fact finish him off. So quite a crazy team fight going there, but I do think DUC came out best of that. They only lost their Magnus, who's really, really important, and the Venomancer, but this Magnus is constantly able to get off these RPs. Even when he dies, he's just capable of landing those RPs just before death. And that is really what's wrecking Zephyr here. It's that, you know, once you're playing with only 3 heroes because 2 of them have instantly died, you really can't do much. DUC is now actually going to make an attempt at this rush, and they're going to do it fairly quickly. I do think they probably needed a Desolator to make certain of this, but unfortunately Mirana has gone with the refusal blade to make certain. He's actually leaped up there. I don't know if that was his intention, in fact. So I wonder who's going to will be going to the Magnus, in fact. Hasn't picked up the next part of his refresher yet. I think just waiting a while, and Mirana's just waiting for the cooldown to end so that she can leap, and she will in fact just leap back into the pit. The Enigma's actually got up his BKB as well, and he's got 2,000 gold on him, so he's doing very, very well as Rising Evil, and he has actually been playing pretty well over the series of games. He's played a very, very impressive Ancient Apparition as well. That DUC is actually just going to rotate bottom and see what they can do. Argon's actually seemingly building into the sheep stick just to give even more lockdown to this team. So Zephyr is going to have a lot of problems if I think the sheep stick will almost certainly be going on that Invoker just to try and lock him up. So once that goes down, that'll be a very, very dead Invoker. Got a fishing arrow will actually catch out Pi, and that'll probably be the cue to go on this tower. The tornado comes out to try and slow them down.
Dire structures have
thought
been
I saw something. Just the tower is going to be altered up, and Legend caught out by that stun there. And blinking by Enigma will grab only 2, and Magnus is getting in place. He does not have enough mana. He does in fact now have enough mana. He'll grab a 3-man RP. And he'll pick off another 2. That'll be the death of the Timbersaw and the Visage there. And he'll die for his trouble. The Jakiro and the Chaos Knight are also going down. That's a triple kill on Flace. And the Magnus is back with full HP, and this will be a Rax as well for Zephyr. So a 4-4, actually no, it's a buyback coming out of Pi, and that is a 5-for-nothing, 6-for-nothing trade in fact going the way of DUC, and this will be a Rax and probably a GG. I really don't see any way for Zephyr to come back from this. And just a brilliant set of initiations in both of these games now from DUC. The DJRS is playing absolutely monstrously on this Invoker, and Rising Evil as well. Sorry, not the Invoker, the Magnus. Apologies for that.
Middle tower has fallen.
And sorry, Rising Evil actually playing brilliantly in both these games as well. The Enigma as well as his
serial killer.
And Magnus is actually going to grab off the Lincoln and grab the Jakiro as well, and that's 2 Raxes down, and there's nothing I think Zephyr can really do about this. Invoker's going to run in with the help of his Ghost Walk, but he's not really going to be doing much. He's going to try and catch off, and he's going to get in with the Tornado. Is he going to? He does not have the EEP on cooldown, so they might only be able to grab the Venomancer, but no. Seabar's actually going to die for his trouble there. Flace just taking him out with relative ease. Flace actually gets a double kill as well, just popping that Invoker with insulting ease almost. We've got a blink in from Rising Evil to try and grab off the Timbersaw, and he'll actually catch a stun as well from that Mirana arrow, and that'll be a triple kill going the way of Flace, and this is just getting very, very ugly now for Zephyr. There's really nothing they can do, and I think this is long GG.
Because it looks like they're really
This is really lost right now. Another Jakiro out, and blink in from DJRS will grab off the Jakiro. Jakiro will get off his ulti, but will die. Baby's going to try, but grabs a RP for his trouble and will die to the Venomancer. Sorry, to the Mirana, and Venomancer is going to take the tower as well. So there we go, the GG is coming out from s17, and very, very well played DUC here, completely dominating Zephyr in both of these games. And I think both times Zephyr just losing the early stages and letting the DUC death balls
I suppose the winners
just completely wreck them once it came to the middle sections of the game. But thank you very much for following, guys. You can follow me at Prophecy Gaming on Twitter if you feel like it, and you can also grab me in the Pro Multicasting Facebook channel. So if you guys want me